Krystianer 1-2, BattleB 1-1, but I'm with you. I'm excited for this one. These are the opening series that I absolutely love in the Swiss format. And even though the numbers don't favor the argument, I'm still leaning a little bit towards the German Terran. But we're taking a look at the main base of the man from Poland, the Polish Protoss, one of the many great Polish Protoss players we have representing Blazer Esports. This is Krystianer.
And the bottom right from Berserker Esports, our red Terran, it is going to be BattleB. Yeah, I'm with you. You obviously mentioned they've only played 3 times this year, and that is shocking because, I mean, to me, you see Krystianer in every tournament, you see BattleB in every tournament, and you see them in all the tournaments that you don't even necessarily keep track of, like a lot of the smaller cups that maybe have like a $30, $40, $50 prize pool, you know, instead of the $100 plus where maybe the bigger names are attracted. So I'm kind of shocked to see that, yeah, these guys have only played 3 times because, yeah, to me they are exactly as you say, the grind is there in everything. And yeah, to meet so few times, it's a shocker.
And in all those, you kind of need to play in all those tiny tournaments as well, right? If you want to make those final steps from being a top 32 player in Europe, that's an early recall, by the way. But yeah, I guess if you're happy with what you've seen, why not? Why stick around? The man saw barracks, saw 2 gases, and he's like, that's all I need, baby. Bring this bad boy home. Sure. That caught me off guard because I don't think I've ever seen a Protoss player recall a probe that early. Like, aren't you supposed to at least try to be annoying, you know? Attack an SCV a couple times, see if an add-on is being dropped, or... Well, yeah, apparently Krystianer already saw everything he needed to see there.
Yep, gonna see everything apparently. I mean, yeah, it's surprising. You're just so fast to bring it home. Well, no mining time wasted, I suppose, as we just have... Now the factory coming up from BattleB, and that is going to be out on the map, second one. So that's going to be the double factory setup. Okay.
3 Cyclones at a time. Oh no, Krystianer's opening up Stargate. Isn't that an absolute disaster, Wadi? Isn't Stargate dead in this matchup? That's at least what I've read on the internet.
That's what I've been told in my internet as well, but yeah, everyone still goes for it, so I guess it can't be that dead.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's say I've done maybe 100 games or a bit more of 100 games. Obviously, I was not able to play last 7 days because I was attending TwitchCon for Basilisk. But when I was playing, I did notice that, oh my, Cyclones are damn good against whatever I open up from the Stargate. And in my case, that's very often Phoenix. But even if you go Oracle, they lock on so quick. They kill them so quickly, and they have so many of them. So yeah, this seems like a bad build order scenario for Krystianer. I was thinking maybe there is a world where you can go Battery Void Ray, right? Like, I have seen Void Rays win games, and I really didn't think they would ever win games. But yeah, on paper, I'm not loving this for Krystianer. Krystianer is going to get the follow-up scout. Somehow that probe gets saved for a split. Oh my god, I have not seen this, but is this a thing, mate?
Well, another reactor? 4 Cyclones at a time? I think I've seen it a couple times. But honestly, I saw it when the patch first hit, and then I feel like it kind of got a bit figured out, so people don't do it anymore, but now BattleB is bringing it back. And I know it's only been a couple weeks, but yeah, this is apparently a thing.
I knew about the triple Cyclone, where I was like, oh man, they can actually afford 3 Cyclones at a time. 4 Cyclones is nuts to me, but sure, why not? I mean, this game will most likely not go on for a very long time because either BattleB will completely smash everything that Krystianer has, or he walks into a stasis trap, somehow gets force fielded in or something, right, by a mixture of his own units and maybe a sentry later on. And 1 battery feels to me a little cautious. I'd be building 6 and still think I'm going to die. I mean... That stasis trap, by the way, it really all comes down to the stasis trap, doesn't it? And that stasis trap really isn't very bad. This is so many freaking Cyclones. I would go for the battery, though, mate. I don't know if killing units near battery overcharge is necessarily the right play, but he's got Cyclones for days. And don't forget that he's building 4 of them at the same time. 7 probes dying, 8 SCVs have already gone down. The Oracles are waiting for their opportunity, as we're going to drop another stasis trap, but I don't really see that stasis trap coming into play.
No, especially not when BattleB sword coming up. Sends 1 SCV over just to activate it, just so you can fight in that direction. Oracle's going to make that dive forward, and he will get rid of a couple Cyclones, and the other ones are low if the Stalkers can just get in reach. It's been expensive, but BattleB's only on 16 workers himself. The Stalkers are now chasing this back, but here are the reinforcing Cyclones from the other side. Now the Stalkers can only really run into the Cyclones once again, and that's where BattleB will take a bit of a better trade. 3 full HP Cyclones left over here. They are the power units. They have the chance, but oh, they're going to be able to do enough. A few more probes still to go down.
It is so wild that he can still afford 3-4 Cyclones at a time after pulling that many SCVs right over one base opening. Krystianer does have overcharge number 2, and that is good. And Mew gets robbed to try to repair, but 2 more Cyclones die. Krystianer, is he able to make magic happen? Loses his Stalker, but he's obviously still enjoying a big economic advantage. It's just they die so quickly against these lock-ons. Wardy and battery overcharge may not have a big cooldown, but every now and then, those final few seconds, it feels like it takes forever. And in the end, it is BattleB who gets the 1-0 lead with the double reacted factory. 4 Cyclones at a time, pulling SCVs as well. Couple things went alrighty there for Krystianer, but yeah, the Cyclone flank was very painful. Eh?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great move by BattleB, because if those Cyclones would have just taken the right side, then all those Stalkers can run back, and if you can get up to like 7 Stalkers, yeah, maybe you're absolutely cooking on the side of Krystianer. You know, one of the things that truly stands out to me the most of all these builds is that pro pooling just seems to be really bad against Cyclones. They are so freaking good in killing probes, like as good as Stim Marines are. And you never pull probes against Stim Marines, but we always try to pull probes against Cyclones because you're like, yeah, this is good because they'll absorb a couple of the lock-ons, but they just lock on so quickly and they kill them so quickly that very rarely do you see probes now make the difference against Cyclones.
Yeah. No, it's actually kind of true because, you know, in the past, it's the same with the Zerglings, right? Where Cyclings used to like waste the lock-ons all the time, and now that's just not the case. The Cyclones just go and they shoot down everything, and they just get through that kind of front line. It really, those defenses so often just come down to Stalker count. You're right. If you get to like the right amount of Stalkers, you one-shot Cyclones, then you know you go in, you one-shot a Cyclone, you back off, you only lose 1 Stalker. That's sort of when you start to get the the victory, but the flank really is what killed him, because that's when he lost the Stalker advantage, or the Stalker count that he kind of needed. And from there, he wasn't able to kind of clean up the waves following. So, players are ready. We're heading ourselves into game number 2. While this is happening, I just saw in the lobby chat ourselves, there's more matches happening as well on the B stream. So just a quick mention over there. I believe the Cranky Ducklings are in charge of the B stream today. If you want to check that out, ESL_SC2B on Twitch. Make sure you go check that out. And yeah, B stream it up as well. Get that squad stream going. I believe we are squad streaming as well. So you can watch all of the games in the ESL SC2 Masters as we get towards the end of Europe. And again, also after this, we are going to have ourselves Americas for day number 2. BattleB and Krystianer are ready for their game number 2 as we kick it off on hard lead. In the top left-hand side, we'll start things out with the Protoss player that could not get the Cyclones under control. This is Krystianer.
Seems that MaxPax got off to a good start on the B stream in his journey as he got the 2-0 victory over Nicorok. And also Gerald getting a 2-0 over Gangfu. That's nice, Gerald. Yeah, that's obviously a bit of a European classic between those two. Bottom right side of Heartland, the 1-0 lead for this man, building 2 factories off 1 base, pulling SCVs and not building 3 but 4 Cyclones at a time. That was key to victory. Berserker Esports BattleB.
Actually a very BattleB build. It's the kind of thing which I've seen him do a couple times over, and not necessarily that specifically, but those kind of builds where he's not afraid to put some of his tech out on the map and really try and hit an early timing. He can be great at some of the multitasking and kind of timing attacks later as well, but he's never shied away from those super aggressive styles, and that's always fun to see.
Yeah, but he has a gnarly macro game as well, right?
Yeah.
Especially against
Absolutely.
Protoss players around his level or a tiny bit below. He can look fantastic, man. He can look like a mini Gabe or a mini Clem, but since he's German, and we'll go with the mini Gabe in his regard. Right? The transitions can be bodily smooth. It feels that he's committed, but then you look at the SCV counter, you're like, oh, okay. And then he's got armory and double eBay and a good transition into Ghost. And what I really like is often his late game army comp. You don't often see him be stubborn, like a couple of the other Terrans that are up and coming, where they're like, all right, they're maxed out, but they're maxed out on like 43 Marauders and 2 Ghosts, right? Like BattleB, I think, is very good in finding that nice balance between the right amount of Vikings, the right amount of Ghosts, a couple Wither Mines if he needs them, and then obviously complemented with Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs. And yeah, I think in a series like this, I wouldn't have expected it. I'd be lying if I would have told you, yeah, Wardy, I think BattleB is gonna go for a 1 base all-in against Krystianer, because kind of thought that he has the level, he has the confidence to just take a man like Krystianer on in a straight-up macro-oriented game. And maybe that's still the plan for game 2, but in game 1, he surprised me at least a little bit.
I think the biggest testament to BattleB was when he played that game against Serral. I think it was in the last season's regionals, and he lost, but like he played Serral to 20 minutes, and he controlled the game for like the better part of 15 of it, you know? Like, it was really an impressive performance then, and if that didn't convince you of how good BattleB can do, then not much really will, as now the Adept comes down, this Reaper is here scouting. Stargate opening. Once again from Krystianer, not going to be scared away from that style of play, as BattleB gets his first Cyclone up, but of course an expansion at home this time around.
Yeah, I think it's just always been a fun kit to watch, and obviously we always hope for a few more guys to really break into the top 10 of the European scene, and I think BattleB has been on people's radar for quite some time, whether you're a viewer or just a caster or a fellow player where you're like, all right, that kid definitely has potential. And I think of all the online cups that I've seen him in over the last 12 months where I'm like, he rarely disappoints me. A single best of 3 against MaxPax a little while ago where I think he was just mentally not feeling it that day, and he basically left the first game after losing a single unit. Maybe a single Cyclone went down and he left, and in the second game he was supply blocked for 3 seconds and then he left too, and I was like, okay, well, he's human, you know, everybody's allowed to have their off day, to have their tilted day, and I can also understand that playing against guys like MaxPax is not super fun if you just feel like, well, this is going to be the end of my journey. But outside of that best of 3, I pretty much always have a good time watching this kid, and he's just good in everything, and you just hope that he keeps on improving. Cyclone, by the way, a bit AFK in the center of the map, but it's a good thing, perhaps, because somehow A, the Reaper doesn't die, and B, he gets the lock on the Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle, everyone kind of just chanced over what could have been a bigger thing. The Oracle only lost shields, the Reaper didn't go down. Oracle is going to show up now, catches a mule quickly, going to find a fresh mule if it wants to retarget onto it. It will get that. Meanwhile, the Cyclone, and now a second Cyclone poke on the other side. Adepts in a battery. Gonna hold tight. This Oracle is doing way too much damage. You can't just let an Oracle kill 6 SCVs. Now you need to do a lot of damage yourself, but Marines in an unprotected main base might find a way to do that.
Yeah, they should be able to do that, right? Because Krystianer was very focused on defending the natural, but now he's in a little bit of trouble. And 2 Adepts, 2 Stalkers is okay, but now the Cyclones are just gonna run past everything in the natural, so they're gonna be in the back of the natural. Maybe Krystianer should pull a couple of the probes away, even though they're both microing at 2 or 3 different fronts right now. We're pulling probes, but that's something we just spoke about, that pulling probes against Cyclones is not always the best case. In the end, it is 7 probes that go down. The Marines, though, are still doing their thing. It seems that BattleB focused a little more on the micro in the main base, or Krystianer just didn't commit with all that many units. Explosive start to the second game of this best of 3.
Yeah, like I say, necessary damage, because if BattleB hadn't done anything, Krystianer would be up like 45 plus workers to 28, and he would be almost untouchable. But yeah, that was the cost of the setup Krystianer went for. He was not quite prepared fully for the attack, and BattleB got enough workers out to now even things back up. 9 workers, but you've got double mules to help you out as a BattleB, so that does go a long way. Krystianer is bringing a pylon up, Blink's on the way. BattleB is actually on the move out again, so he's going to go pushing, and maybe we'll get in position before Blink is done. That would be huge for him if possible. Another Oracle just going to force SCVs to run from the natural.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Krystianer and you see nothing at home in that Oracle, the alarm bells must go off, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, well, I was thinking of attacking you, but I guess you are attacking me. Otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense that there are no units. That medevac is taking a lot of damage. Maybe the SCVs can temporarily repair that medevac. The tank is going to siege up, but I don't think it's in range of that shield battery. So that's going to give Krystianer some extra time. And now Krystianer can very safely pop overcharge. I actually think you can stand there for a while if you would have just spaced out your Stalkers a tiny bit. He is not doing that, so he's just gonna let that battery die, he's gonna let the pylon die. Twilight is unpowered, and Krystianer is supply blocked, so that means he's gonna probably go for a forward blink. Will it be a painful one, or will it be a great one, Vardy? He doesn't even need to, as he just walks up there. Well, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, Libera is now going to get blinked upon, and that siege tank over here, so that's a lot of the tech units of BattleB just getting taken out without really having to pay, without really kind of doing too much, so not really the best. These Stalkers will continue to blink back against these Marines. It feels like overall Krystianer is absolutely doing enough. The blink gives you so much value on each and every one of these Stalkers. That said, behind all of this, BattleB is somehow nearly going to bunker up in the natural still, cancel those. I was going to say, he's only 4 workers behind, so his worker count, his economy is actually good.
Tank rallies into the Stalker, so that's very painful because I was kind of with you. I was like, maybe with that tank, then you can just stabilize without really taking any damage at home, and then it really wouldn't be all that bad. But now you're still in a very awkward spot, and I think at this point it just comes down to trying to buy as much time as possible. But the fact that these Marines and these Vikings are going to go down is inevitable with Stalkers on both sides. BattleB is just running as far away from home as possible, right, to buy that time. Man, if he didn't lose that tank and you just get a bunker up immediately, I was completely with you. I think it would have been quite alrighty in the end. Now it feels that we are a blink away from Krystianer closing out this game.
Yeah, just too many Stalkers. Obviously, he's got so many gateways up, and he's got the nearby gateway, so he can warp in very quickly as well. Stalkers will blink on the tank. It goes down easily. One shot and overkill there. Krystianer takes it. And he will tie this up, and we are once more heading to a game 3 here in Europe. As Krystianer and BattleB, fast, explosive series, but back and forth as one goes to BattleB and the other goes to Krystianer.
And brilliant Stalker rotation back into the main base. Gotta give it to Krystianer, right? He could have stood his ground there and tried to space the Stalkers out a little bit and just try to get a lot of value out of the overcharge. He pulled back and he said, nope, I think a much better plan is to just blink to the low ground and try to pick up some reinforcements. But before he even started off picking up the reinforcements, the Marines and that landed Viking, they were a bit too far forward. They were very deep into the natural. So he just walked up there, killed the tank that was just repositioning itself, and then he could run back towards the south side of the map where he found another tank, a Liberator, and then eventually the third tank. So just a brilliant move by Krystianer. Not an easy call to make, to basically let your opponent just walk into your natural, but it was a game-winning move.
Well, now we get Solaris. I've actually been loving this map. I actually think it's really fun. The acceleration zone just speed things up a little bit. And yet, it's still kind of hard to push into your opponent's 3 base. There's like a very choked up entrance to a 3rd base, which has like a speed zone. So if you get through, you're golden. But like you actually get held there a lot of the time. I've seen a few games kind of end like that. So kind of excited what BattleB and Krystianer do on what has been one of the more aggressive maps of the map pool. Absolutely think this could be pretty darn fun. So we're going to get this rolling in just a moment and then round out Europe and head into Americas, like I say. Kind of wild, Roddy. We've only got a couple best of 3s left. Obviously, for me, it's a bit weird because we started so much later yesterday. We finished quite late. Today, we started a bunch earlier. So I'm kind of like, right now, I'm like, man, we have like 5 hours to go. But actually, we only have a couple of best of 3s remaining.
Could get some late game canning though, mate. So there's a couple best of 3s.
Maybe 5 hours still, yeah.
You never know. I casted canning a tiny bit. I believe I got his game 3 of his close qualifier run. Where he played against the Rayu, the Peruvian-Italian Zerg player. And we saw carriers, we saw motherships. Didn't go on forever, but yeah, let's see. I'm curious to see how this one will close out for us. And just got an update from the admin that Special against Eric will be played on Europe. Could they not agree upon a server? Is that what it is?
But I guess like Mexico versus Brazil is like a weird one, right? Because East is going to be a little bit favorable to Special, and then Brazil's obviously very good for Eric. Central's probably a bit, favorable one way or another. So I guess they just agree EU is maybe actually like the worst of both worlds, I suppose, or the best of both worlds. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope for Eric it's okay. I don't know. Maybe Eric is somewhere else. That would be lovely, but I don't think that's the case. Anyway, Solaris Map 3, the absolute final game of the second day of the Europe Regionals. It's definitely been a fun one. Couple of close series. Who's going to be off to a good start here in the Swiss format. No need to panic for either of these guys if they lose this series, but this is not the worst draw they could have had, so I'm sure they're off hoping for a good start here. In the bottom left side of Solaris, the Polish Protoss, Blazer Esports, Krystianer.
Taking on the German Terran from Berserker Esports, top right, BattleB.
Going back to that first game, by the way, with that ultra quick recall, like it was probably BattleB's plan all along, right, to go for the proxy factory and go for the mass cyclone all in. But is there a world where he's like, all right, if you recall that quickly, I'll just go for this, and I don't think you're gonna pick up on it?
Maybe. I don't know, man. I was, yeah, I guess so. Could be.
I mean, Krystianer. Oh no, he's stuck. He's stuck. No, it's too late. That's an ugly start. Yeah. These are the little things that you really don't want to see happen to yourself, as BattleB is hiding in SCV again, Wardy, and it's relatively close towards the main base of Krystianer, and there is a speed zone as well. Is it Cyclone Galore one more time? Is that really what we're just going to bring to the show today?
Could very well be. I mean, if the SCV is waiting there, what else are you waiting for? The probe is moving across. Oh my goodness, he's going to build it. Yeah, just afterwards. I don't think the probe would have been in range anyways, but very close, obviously. And yeah, that's a big one for BattleB, because any inkling of this happening from Krystianer, and he could start to prepare much earlier, and that could just be disastrous.
Going Twilight Council this time around, so no Stargate. But hey, obviously this hits so early that there is no universe in which you're going to have Blink. I guess you can say there is a universe where you give up on your natural and you get one base Blink Stalker, but I don't even know if I love that against 4 Cyclones at a time. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. I do think that you always want to get more than 1 battery. I think 1 battery is A, very risky in case Cyclones lock on it and kill it, and B, without the overcharge, it's going to be out of energy so quickly. So why settle for 1 battery when you can easily get a second one or a third one? The probe scout on the other side of the map should be big. Krystianer sees the reactor, sees the factory, knows there is no command center yet. And even though he's been scouting for proxies, I think at this point you gotta think back a little bit of what happened in game 1 and assume that, yeah, there is a very likely chance that it's happening all over again.
Yep, no, absolutely. It's the good news is you're going Blink, right? And I think as long as you get up to Blink, you should almost always be okay against these Cyclones. I feel like the Cyclones are too slow to really fight. Of course, there's a little while until Blink is ready. We do see a lot of gates coming up. I think Krystianer's making all the right moves. The pressure is on BattleB to make something happen ASAP and to keep that Stalker count low. That's what he really needs. He needs to start trading against the Stalkers immediately and just never stop, essentially.
This time around, we haven't pulled all those SUVs yet, but that may still happen. I like the second battery, by the way. I'd love a second pylon as well in the natural. As you can see, Wadi, I have lost a couple ladder points against Cyclones. and I'm like, okay, I see a weakness, I see weakness. This is ultra quick Blink. He is going to get that second pylon. He's going to get a third battery as well. So this is it, right? If Krystianer can just maintain a healthy Stalker count, if he can get up to 5-6 Stalkers with Blink, he's got a good chance. But I think initially the battling will start. He uses another Chrono. That means no overcharge in the very beginning. Isn't that very risky too? Because Cyclones deal so much damage. Blink is going to finish up in 10 seconds. Here we go. Wardy.
Yeah, the Cyclones are going to start. Obviously, the extra pylon definitely a good choice. Otherwise, that first pylon would just go down. There is Blink starting out. The SCVs will save themselves. So save the Cyclones a little bit of damage initially as the Cyclones do come forward. The Blink backs are good. The battery's being drained of energy. But we have overcharge yet to use when we get the energy for it. There it is. Now the Stalkers will not drop as quickly. You see the Cyclones backing away, but this means even more Stalkers come out. And again, this is where maybe it becomes a very tough fight as BattleB will re-engage. The Stalkers should not really be going down here, but we lose a couple. Krystianer's micro making mistakes.
Yeah, Krystianer, you just gotta take it easy, mate, because every second that goes by is a good one for you, but he definitely lost a few Stalkers. Now you have no overcharge. Most of your batteries are drained. Cyclone count isn't all that high anymore. 33 workers against 17. It should be good enough for Krystianer. That got a tiny bit scary. I was with you there when he was fighting that far out, but I guess he's just trying to get every single pickup for free that he can get his hands on, and I do think it's safe to say that now the worst is behind him, and there is only glory from here on out for 2 base Protoss against a 1 base Terran. It is the Polish Protoss Krystianer with non-stop chronos. Very, very, very